Across the vast forest stretching throughout eastern North America, where winter blankets the ground in white for many months and spring appears only for a brief moment, there is a tree that has become an inseparable symbol of an entire nation. That tree is the maple. The maple leaf appears on Canada's national flag, on coins, in culture, in art, and in everyday life. But the true value of this tree goes far beyond symbolism. From the trunk of the maple comes one of the world's purest and oldest natural sweeteners: maple syrup. Behind that gentle sweetness lies an entire agricultural industry built on endurance, relying almost entirely on natural cycles, weather, plant biology, and human patience over hundreds of years. The journey of maple syrup actually begins long before the first drops of sap flow from a tree. It begins with planting and establishing maple forests, a process measured in decades rather than short farming seasons like most agricultural crops. Unlike fruit trees that can be harvested after just a few years, maple trees are considered a long-term investment for future generations. A maple planted today may take 30 to 40 years before it is mature enough to be tapped, and often 50 years or more before it produces stable yields. Maple seeds have a distinctive winged structure that allows them to spin and drift with the wind in autumn. However, in agricultural cultivation, farmers often grow seedlings in nurseries to control density, quality, and survival rates. These young trees are raised for 1 to 3 years before being transplanted into the forest. The spacing between trees typically ranges from 6 to 10 meters, ensuring each tree has enough room to develop a wide canopy and deep root system. Managing maple forests is also a crucial part of sustainable agriculture. Farmers frequently apply selective thinning, removing weak or overcrowded trees to increase sunlight and nutrient availability for the healthier ones. Maintaining a density of approximately 60 to 90 mature maple trees per hectare is considered ideal for optimizing sap production while preserving the forest ecosystem. In addition, maple forests play a significant role in water retention, soil erosion control, and carbon absorption, making maple syrup production one of the most sustainable agroforestry models in the world. Once a maple forest has matured after decades of care, the real journey of maple syrup production can finally begin. At the end of winter, when snow still covers the ground, but sunlight begins to feel warmer, maple trees enter a unique physiological phase. Throughout the winter, their roots are nearly dormant, absorbing very little water. But when daytime temperatures rise above 0 degrees Celsius and nighttime temperatures fall below freezing, a natural pumping mechanism is activated. During the day, air inside the wood cells expands, creating pressure that pushes sap upward through the trunk. At night, as temperatures drop, the air contracts and draws more water up from the roots. This repeated freeze-thaw cycle creates a continuous internal flow of sap. The ideal conditions for this phenomenon usually last from late February to early April each year. If spring arrives too early or nighttime temperatures are not cold enough, sap production can drop by 30 to 50%. Not every maple tree can produce sap suitable for syrup. Out of more than 150 maple species worldwide, only about 4 species are commonly used for maple syrup production, with the most important being the sugar maple. A maple tree must be at least 35 to 40 years old and reach a trunk diameter of around 25 to 30 centimeters before it can be tapped without affecting its long-term growth. A healthy tree can produce an average of 40 liters of sap per season, which equals roughly 1 liter of finished syrup, making this sweetener both a precious natural gift and a relatively expensive one. However, farmers must follow strict sustainability principles. Each tree is tapped with only 1 to 3 holes, depending on its size, ensuring it continues to grow and produce for many decades. When sap season begins, the forest becomes quietly busy while still maintaining the calm atmosphere characteristic of woodland agriculture. Farmers carry hand drills, tubing, and small spouts known as spiles. Each hole is only 5 to 7 centimeters deep, just enough to reach the sapwood without damaging the tree's main structure. In the past, every tree held a hanging metal bucket, creating a classic springtime image. Today, most medium and large farms have shifted to low-pressure plastic tubing systems. These networks can stretch for tens to hundreds of kilometers, weaving through the forest and connecting thousands of trees into a single system. A large farm may manage 5,000 to 50,000 taps, and in Quebec, the world's largest maple syrup production center, some operations exceed 100,000 taps. Fresh maple sap is still about 98% water, colorless, odorless, and contains only around 2% natural sugar. This is why processing becomes the most energy-intensive stage. After collection, sap is transported to central storage tanks by gravity or light vacuum pumps. Timing is critical. If sap remains at ambient temperature for more than 24 to 48 hours, natural bacteria begin to grow, turning the sap sour and affecting the syrup's flavor. Therefore, in modern agriculture, sap is typically processed the same day or stored at temperatures below 4 degrees Celsius. Inside the wooden forest cabins known as sugar shacks, transformation begins. Traditionally, sap is boiled in large metal pans over wood fires. Thick steam rises into the air, carrying a soft, sweet aroma of natural sugar. On average, it takes 40 liters of sap to produce 1 liter of syrup, though this ratio varies by year and can reach 50 to 1, depending on natural sugar levels. Today, to save fuel and reduce carbon emissions, many farms use reverse osmosis technology. This system employs high-pressure membranes to remove excess water before boiling, raising sugar concentration from 2% to 8 to 12% and reducing boiling time and energy costs by up to 60%. When the liquid reaches approximately 104 degrees Celsius and sugar concentration hits 66 to 67%, it gradually changes from clear to golden, then deep amber. At this stage, the syrup develops its signature thickness and a light caramel aroma. It is then filtered to remove remaining natural minerals, often referred to as sugar sand. Once completed, the hot syrup is filled into glass bottles or food-grade plastic containers at around 85 degrees Celsius, creating a natural vacuum seal. Thanks to its high sugar content and airtight packaging, maple syrup can be stored for many years without preservatives. Globally, Canada accounts for about 70 to 75% of the world's maple syrup production, with the province of Quebec contributing over 90% of Canada's output. Each year, the industry produces more than 180 million liters of syrup, generating billions of dollars in revenue and supporting over 13,000 farming households. From a tiny seed spinning in the autumn wind to a towering forest tree after decades of growth. From a clear drop of sap in the late winter woods to a golden stream of syrup on the breakfast table. Maple syrup is not merely a food product. It is the result of natural biology, agricultural science, sustainable forest management, and cultural tradition preserved across generations. Every drop carries the flavor of the forest soil, the rhythm of the seasons, patience, and quiet human labor. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoy authentic agricultural journeys, natural production processes, and the enduring beauty of hardworking farmers around the world, be sure to subscribe to Radiant Farming, like the video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our upcoming agricultural stories. See you in the next videos.